Hello everyone, welcome to the video series on UFT automation. In this video we will look at step generator. A step generator is a tool within UFT that, as name says, you can generate, steps kind of similar to these, that are generated as you record. Now you can go to this tool and generate the steps. However, the tool has its own limitations. But once you understand how the tool works, then you can use it to your advantage, and it definitely comes in handy, in certain situations. Okay, the tool is under Design menu, and here is Step Generator. You can click there, or the shortcut is F7 key. That will display the Step Generator window. Now here under category, let's first go through the screen. The first item is the category. You have the three types of objects: test objects, utility objects, and functions. Obviously, the test objects are the objects that are in your object repository. Those are the test objects. That's what you will see here. That means you pick that, then you can work with those objects. This is showing you flight reservation. You can click on the little button right next to that which says select object, and then you have access to all the objects within that particular screen. So you can pick the object you want to work with, then that object gets selected here. Now once you have the object, you can pick the operation that can be performed on that object. You can click on it, you can double click on it, you can get auto property, get text, do a few things here. Now next thing is if that operation requires any arguments, then this is the area where you would key in those values. As you pick things and enter data, UFT tool or the step generator generates the step here. Say for example I go pick a name, you can see that it changes the step here. So whatever the step gets generated here, when you do OK, this is the step that gets inserted into your script. And the last is the checkbox, which allows you to kind of add multiple steps. So when you're done with the adding one step, if you have this checked, then the step generator's screen will still stay on. The step generator dialog box will stay on the screen so that you can add more steps. So that's the use of that checkbox. So let's go ahead and add some sample steps here. Say we'll start with test objects. Name is fine. We'll say there's an asterisk marks here, right next to the name, that tells that it's a required field, so you need to give some data. I'll just say sample, and you can see once I exit out, then it says .set sample there. I'll go ahead and click insert. Let's see where it added sample. Let me close this. So this is where it added. I want to hit F7. So that's an example for adding a test object step. Let me add one more. I'll pick insert order, and it's a click. That's fine. I'll accept. There's no required arguments here, so that's fine. I'm good with that. So as you can see, it added there. Next, what I'll do is I'll go pick utility objects. Now these utility objects are all built-in utilities within UFT. We did use a few before. Say for example environment, we used it. We used parameter. We used system util.run. let's say system-util.run. We already used it, and within that you have so many operations that you can perform using the using that utility or that object. We always used run, and then you have few things here. You need to give the file name. Let's say for example I say calc.exe. So I want to run the calculator, and gives now it's added. It got the step got updated to insert. Now that's there. Let's say, let me pull this. We also did system. I think it was not system monitor. Services. We use the services. You'll recognize this one. Under services, you can set start a transaction, and can give a name for that. I'll say sample tran insert, and then there's end transaction. I don't. Technically, this should be the one that you already started. I'll just say sample tran. So services.startran. So it's as simple as that. I mean, depending on the object that you pick, you will get operations that you can perform. And next, let's take a look at the functions. And this functions, by default, it's set to all. You have library functions, built-in functions, and local script functions. Local script is a script that you're looking at. So if you do a library function, this will display all the functions from your function library. If you add a function library and add it to or associate it with your action, then you would see it here. So let's do this by default, set it to all. So this will give you all the functions or library functions that are built in by default, all the built-in functions. That is what we are seeing here. Absolute array, ascending B, ascending W, ATN, it's a convert to bool, convert to byte. There are quite a bit of functions, operations that you can perform that are built in primarily. And you have library functions. Obviously, we don't have any function library associated, so you'll not have anything in there. And then you have all will give all this, and depending on the object, or depending on the operation you pick, it will, let's say for example length. You want to okay, let's take length and give it a string now. Let's say global etraining.com. So that's a string that we are passing to the a function .length. It says length this, and do insert. And let's do this just for the sake of executing this. Let's go back to step generator. Let's say for example you want to do utilities, not utilities, I'm sorry, functions, message box, and then you say welcome to global etraining.com. Done. Then I'll do exit test, remove all these for a second. I'll just run these two steps here. It will run from this step, it will run line 24, and then 25 is exit. So technically I should see a text box, a message box, and I'm done. So even if you forget syntax and all that, it's very easy to go there and use the step generator tool to kind of show you or help you in inserting steps. Now let me go back there again, design step generator, and Yes, I mean that would, that would get you started with the step generator. So just a quick recap: the step generator tool can be, used to insert steps into your script. Now again, the limitation is that, when you're working with just objects, if the object is not in your object repository, obviously you cannot add that step. It's as simple as that. Or then you need to dynamically use this tool, kind of go point the object, grab it, get into the object repository. I mean to say the button here which says, select an object from your application. So you would take that route. I clicked on the desktop. So and then, you do OK, and it picks that object. So it automatically added to your object repository, and then, selected that object. So that's how you do. But it's not. I would recommend, not to start adding objects using step generator, because the whole point here is to generate the steps using your existing. And if you run, into a couple of objects that you don't have, then you can definitely use it. But don't use this as a solo purpose of adding objects, because that's not the real intended purpose of the step generator tool. Well, that's it about step generator. That should get you started. Play with it. Spend some time, and probably maybe 30 minutes or so. It will definitely help you in understanding the tool itself. Okay. Well, thank you very much for watching this video, and I will talk to you in the next. Thank you for watching this video.